As would be expected, companies cover director travel and other reasonable expenses associated with their board service, and some also cover guest travel and even really personal flights for safety reasons. But how this is accomplished varies significantly by company and within particular companies as board composition changes over time. Although not required, many companies have policies that help guide them to what is permissible and what is not when it comes to director travel and entertainment. Today on Zippy Point. I'm Brock Romanek, and I'm a big fan of use. Director travel and expense reimbursement policies are embedded typically into a broad corporate travel and expense policy known as a T&E policy, or they exist as a standalone policy just for those outside directors. The policy typically is driven by the corporate secretary, but its implementation, the collection of the receipts, might be handled by another department, finance, treasury, maybe even internal audit. Your company might even have a separate travel department that handles much of the details and paperwork. Here are 5 hot tips about director travel you should know. 1. Bare bones policies should set boundaries. 2. Duck problems with air travel. 3. Use the policy to say no. 4. Train those implementing the policy. 5. Never delegate all the menial travel tasks. 1. Bare bones policy should set boundaries. So let's start by acknowledging that this travel stuff for directors is a real pain in the butt. The key is to have a conversation with the board up front about what their expectations are. Get them invested in the policy. What's in the policy often depends on who's on your board the last time it was revisited. Changes to policies often take place after there's been a particular issue with a particular director. So talk to the board about the limits about what you can deduct for tax purposes. Talk to them about proxy disclosure and be strong. You have to be grown up about this stuff. You don't want to be constantly dealing with, can I bring my son on the plane, my dog? Having said that, most policies are bare bones and cover only the basics. If you're lucky, it will have 10 pages of guidance about do's and don'ts. Often it's a lot shorter. It will outline what expenses are covered, and on a rare occasion, it will include deadlines for when a director can seek reimbursement and the particulars of the documentation process. Normally, that stuff is not in the policy itself. Instead, instructions about how to accomplish all that is given to the directors informally. 2. Duck problems with air travel. If you're going to have a problem, it's likely going to be about a plane. So, for example, a director has their own personal plane, and it looks inequitable compared to other directors if they're reimbursed for the cost of that director flying themselves in. It winds up hurting feelings, not to mention the complexity of how to handle it. So it's good to have parameters about flying. A smart policy provision, only reimburse for a first class ticket's value. Remember that the goal of the policy is to bring clarity so that directors know which expenses are reasonable. A first class ticket reimbursement sure seems reasonable to me. I've never flown first class. 3. Use the policy to say no. Don't wilt. Unfortunately, being the corporate secretary means sometimes you have to be the no gal or guy. Sometimes you have to push back even though the customer service person inside of you is just screaming otherwise. Only by setting boundaries can you properly do your job. That's why it's smart if your policy addresses these issues you can foresee with this particular group of directors. You need a written document that you can lean on so that you can make that the no gal or no guy instead of it being you. 4. Train those implementing the policies. Quite often and surprisingly, your staff won't be the ones collecting the receipts. Like I said before, it might be someone in finance, treasury, internal audit. And if so, you're going to have to train those handling receipts about some of the intricacies, the disclosure issues for proxies, what's a perk. And I have separate Vid-Guides about all that stuff. So just search hashtag perks, hashtag ZippyPoint to get to those, or go to zippypoint.com. The tax issues, what the independent auditors will be checking on, and of course on what is not permitted under the director's T&E policy. You want to train them so that they know enough to come to you with their very specific questions. You need them to be the issue spotters. 5. Never delegate all the menial travel tasks. So this tip might surprise you, but it's the best tip I have here. Sometimes you want to call the director yourself. Explain that your right hand made the arrangement, but they're too busy right now to make this call. You'll be surprised what nuggets you'll learn. They're going to be happy to hear from you and will tell you things that they might not have otherwise because it's more of a social call. It has that feel. They're not put on the spot. So they're going to be saying something like, oh, I've been meaning to tell you real substantive critical things that you might not have otherwise heard about until it was too late and it became a problem.